Good evening. It's quite difficult to say something now, but I will try to do this. I begin from health technology assessment. We speak about health technology assessment because what is education? Education is something that is necessary for health services. And so in health technology assessment, education is a technology itself. And so we can use the method of health technology to judge education and to make a project. So that is necessary to know what is the aim of education, what is the scope we have. So Nicolas said that we have a definition of clinical engineer. Many years ago we have it. So we need now an identification of clinical engineer to have the recognition, definition, identification, and the recognition. Three different moments. We have not the identification of clinical engineer now. We have now a postgraduate school for clinical engineer. I am an electronic engineer. I'm not a biomedical too, because I'm an older man. But now we have a biomedical engineer, but we have no postgraduate in Europe, in Italy, in Europe, I think so. We have no postgraduate education that identify clinical engineer with a university course. I think we need it. We need it for identification and so for recognition. We need standardization in Europe for this, not to split the community of biomedical engineer with the clinical engineer. No, it's not the aim. But we need for recognition of clinical engineers this point. Adriana said that WHO asked for the number of engineers working in hospitals, not other, because they would like to plan the develop of engineers in the hospital. And so they would ask us to educate people for this. So we need this point. I think in Europe we need this passage now. The other point is that we have also a responsibility in the cooperation with low and medium income countries. As in health technology assessment, we have to especially consider the context. The European context is different from the European of other countries, for example, Africa. So we need to know what's the aim. I think the aim is to develop technology in these countries using the technology that is education. And so we need to develop not only clinical engineers in this country, but also clinical engineer services, companies that make these services. So we need to develop all the technology in these countries. Nicolas said that Erasmus is a project very important for Europe. Now there is another development of Erasmus Plus, that is useful also for outside Europe. And so tomorrow we will present, for example, a project with some African countries to exchange people between these countries and Europe. So I have nothing else to tell you. I think the things are identity, then is necessary for recognition. And the identity of clinical engineer is useful for recognition. Thank you.